Human Rights in the Postmodern Era by Alex Sanders and Dina Alshara. The ruling of the U.S. Supreme Court Abaful v. Hodges was the same-sex couples had the right to marry under the Due Process Clause and Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. This was a result of the founding of many human rights confrontation over many years.
The Constitution of Medina was something that sought to create a free and pluralistic society, including freedom of religion and a fair judicial system. This was written by Muhammad and was sought to protect the basic human rights to soon help develop into the greater development in the world.
The English Bill of Rights was one of the first founding documentation to provide for human rights and not to benefit the government or the economy. It asserted certain ancient rights and liberties, such as the right of subjects to petition the king and the right to a fair trial.
The U.S. Constitution was a beginning step in the fundamental process to make all equal and give each individual true human rights in the developing world. It will soon advance to add the 13th Amendment, including Amendments 14, 15, and 19, that all help to build human rights across the nation.
The French Declaration of Rights of Man was a document that included about 17 articles that all helped to define and protect the human rights across France. This changed a lot of meaning for the development of future human rights. It soon helped base the modern human rights protects of today.
The Slavery Abolishment Act of 1833 was known as the biggest human rights act in the 19th century. The Slavery Abolishment Act did not explicitly refer to the British North America. Its aim was to rather dismantle the large-scale plantation slavery that existed in the British tropical colonies, which were filled with enslaved populations, which was usually larger than the white colonists. Enslaved Africans in the British North American was relatively isolated in far smaller numbers. The causes was a result that causes that were a result from the Slavery Abolishment Act
of 1833 would soon affect the human rights across Europe and America. The Emancipation Proclamation was an important document at the end of the Civil War in the United States that allowed all slaves in the rebellious states shall be thenceforward and forever free. While the Emancipation Proclamation did not free a single slave, it was an important turning point in the war for major human rights, transforming the right to preserve the nation into a battle for human freedom.
Major Geneva Conventions were a part of an international effort to address the human rights of prisoners of war. Several additions had been made to the conventions, including protocols established in 1977 that called for the protection of civilians and non-combatants during wartime.
The Universal Declaration contains 30 articles that identify and define various human rights for all people. It states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and prohibits distinctions based on race, color, sex, language, religion, political or opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. It also prohibits arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile, slavery or servitude, or torture or cruel treatment.
The Amnesty International was founded in 1961 and headquartered in London. It seeks to end grave abuses of human rights and to demand justice for those whose rights have been violated. The organization won the 1977 Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts. This would soon affect the establishment of what is known to be founding human rights today.